Hey everyone, this is Tim Dial with Nexa Mortgage, and just wanted to put this little video together to go over a very exciting new down payment assistance program that we have available now that I think is one of the best programs on the market. The thing that makes it unique is that it's an actual grant rather than like a second mortgage that gets put on the property for the down payment or something like that. Most down payment assistance programs, what happens is they give you the 3.5% for an FHA down payment, but then they put that 3.5% on as a second mortgage, and then you pay that back over 10 to 15 years. So instead of bringing, like, just as an example, let's say it's a $200,000 purchase, instead of bringing $7,000 to the closing, you're paying for the down payment over 10 to 15 years instead. That's how most programs are set up. This new down payment assistance program is an actual grant. And the nice thing about that is two things. For one, you don't have a second mortgage, so your overall payment is lower once you do close on the house. And then additionally, you don't lose equity in the property. So, like, for instance, if you use one of the other down payment assistance programs where they put a second mortgage on your house, then you're at 100% on your overall loan to value ratio. You have no equity in the property when you move in. And then you have to build equity over time. But with the grant program, they're giving you the 3.5% as a grant. You don't owe it back. Therefore, you already have 3.5% equity in the house when you first move in. It also makes it much easier to refinance down the road because you already have some equity built up. So a year, 2 years down the road, the rates drop, you're able to refinance faster and get a better deal at that point. So it's a great program. The one thing about it is, and I always like to let people know this, it does include what are essentially higher closing costs than just doing a regular FHA loan. There are higher closing costs, but the nice thing is that sellers are permitted to pay closing costs, but sellers are not permitted to pay part of your down payment. So as a result, like, I have a transaction right now where the seller's paying $8,400 in closing costs. And so what that means is that the buyer is only going to have to bring a couple $1,000s to closing. Instead of, they would have had to bring about $8,000 to closing if they were just doing a straight FHA loan. So it's a great program in that regard. The seller can pay part of the closing costs or all of the closing costs in some cases. In this transaction, the seller's only paying 4%. FHA allows you to go up to 6%. So if we had the full 6%, then certainly all of the closing costs would have been covered and the buyer would be bringing nothing to closing. So that's certainly an option. But it just all comes down to the negotiation and what you're able to get the seller to agree to in the contract. But it definitely opens up a lot of options for people who don't have a lot of cash on hand and they really need to get into a house without bringing very much to closing. So just wanted to cover that real quickly. Didn't want to spend a ton of time on it, but if you have any questions, certainly let me know, as I'm here to help. Thanks.